32 teams in 32 days. Today, the Cleveland Browns. Welcome to a series where we deep dive on every NFL team's offseason, everything from the very beginning when coaches are being hired, all the way to present day with preseason and training camp happening. We're going to be covering 32 teams across 32 days from August 1st to September 1st. So here's a list of teams that we're going to be covering. I encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date and notified when we drop that specific video. This is filmed on July 26th, and I mention that because if anything were to happen as far as injuries or anything else, this video, some things might be a little bit outdated, so just keep in mind when you're watching this video. I wanted to invite a friend over that is a Cleveland native. His name is Connor Iverson. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your backstory? How did you become a Browns fan?
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Lived there for 13 years, and then I moved to Atlanta, but I'm a Cleveland sports fan overall. So Browns, Guardians, Cavs, and then Buckeyes, champs.
I like how you said Guardians.
Well, it's not, my hat says Indians, but, they changed the name,
We'll blur it out.
Yeah.
That's okay. Talking about the Browns, we're going to invite Connor to give his take on everything that's happening from the offseason with the Cleveland Browns, starting with the main man in charge, that is Kevin Stefanski, head coach, going into his 6th season with the team. Has some success, had a couple of 11-win seasons, I should say. It's been to the playoffs a couple of times, but his winning percentage only 47%. They fired Ken Dorsey, bringing a new offensive coordinator. Do you feel like he's a long-term answer in Cleveland?
I don't think this is the year that they're going to get it done. I mean, we have a lot of other questions. I think he's a good coach. In 5 seasons, we've been to the playoff 2 times. That wasn't happening before he was the coach. I mean, it was a pretty long drought. So I like him as a coach. I do think moving forward, he can definitely get us in the right direction, but it ain't going to be this year.
Their bye week is in a weird spot. It's right in the middle of the season, and I think that's a great week for the Browns to assess a lot of things, including the quarterbacks, which we'll get into later in the video. But do you feel like that is a good spot to where, if they don't do well, they could potentially let go of Stefanski?
Personally, wouldn't do that because I think our organization is headed in the right direction with him. 2 winning seasons is not good for a lot of other teams, but for the Browns, that is fantastic. I think the last time we made the playoffs before we made it his first or second year with Baker was 2002. So the drought was really long. And so just to be back in the conversation of winning,
I would say probably the most successful Browns coach in a very long time. Moving on in the offseason, come March, there's free agency with the trades as well. And you look on the left side, there's a few adds, but compared to the right side, there's a bunch of losses. And I actually ran out of room because as of recently, Jordan Hicks, their starting linebacker, recently retired. So that's another name that we wanted to add onto this graphic. But Deontay Johnson, who's been bouncing around from team to team for the last couple of years, he might be helping out the wide receiving core. DeAndre Carter comes in to be a good kick returner, special teams guy as well. But the biggest adds are the quarterbacks with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett.
Compared to last year, we're kind of staying in the same space. The quarterback situation is obviously really difficult right now. There's a lot of media attention on it, so that's obviously tough. Some of the pain points and people we lost that really hurt me are Nick Chubb, definitely one that hurt. I personally also liked Elijah Moore. I thought he was really talented. We just haven't had the consistent quarterback play to really be able to use him in the way that we needed for him to be successful. But I think we stayed about the same. I don't think we did anything that makes me think, oh my gosh, like we're going to take the next step. I'm glad we kept Myles Garrett. I mean, obviously he originally wanted to leave, but I'm glad we were able to bring him back.
Then the damage has to be done at the draft at that point, and looking forward to the draft. You talked about Nick Chubb being someone that they needed to fill in that role. And Quinshon Judkins, has he signed his deal yet? I don't believe he has.
I don't think so.
I think he's the last rookie remaining at the filming of this video because Shamar Stewart of the Bengals, he just signed his deal. So now it's just Judkins.
Right.
And with everything going on with legal issues, we'll look forward to seeing what the split is going to be at running back, which we'll talk about in just a bit. But the first 2 picks, we got Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger, help out that defensive front 7 mightily. What are your thoughts on that?
I love it. I hate that Mason Graham went to Michigan because I'm an Ohio State fan, but he is a really good player. Hopefully, it would be nice if we get kind of an inside-out punch with him and Myles Garrett on the defensive line. Carson, I don't know much about him, but in our situation, linebacker depth is great.
What are your thoughts, though, when you're watching the NFL draft? You see that you have the number 2 pick going into the draft. You're like, oh, this is Travis Hunter territory. And then to trade out of it. And the Browns fans are thinking, well, this is a generational guy we could have had. We traded out of it. Is this typical Cleveland Browns fashion, or do you like Mason Graham?
I'm a Travis Hunter fan. I went to Collins Hill High, so I'm a big fan of him. There is a lot of attention that comes with taking him. He wants to play both sides of the ball. There were questions on him as a receiver where they didn't know if he was as polished and things like that. I'm glad we traded out of it because the Browns don't need any more media attention. You can never go wrong trying to build the defense. And so I don't mind it.
Yeah, the guy that that you were mentioning that could have had that media attention, we could have mentioned him in the first or second round when we were talking about that, but let's just go down the list a little bit more. Talk about another quarterback, not that guy that you were mentioning, but Dylan Gabriel. What is your opinion on the Browns being this team that is so linked to Shedeur Sanders pre-draft, taking Gabriel, and then all the way in the 5th, pick 144, taking Shedeur? Is it just, hey, he's just on the board, let's just go ahead and take him?
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think anybody could have imagined Shedeur falling to the 5th round. I'm not going to go into why I think he fell to the 5th round. With our quarterback history, why not take him as well? I do like Dylan Gabriel. He was really good last year. He was a Heisman finalist last year. We obviously had to deal with him at Ohio State twice, one time being successful, but one time losing in Oregon. He was really accurate. He is mobile, which we learned the hard way. So I like both of the picks. I'm all for competition. It's a position that historically we just haven't done well with at quarterback. So the more the merrier. If we get Shedeur at 5, take him. You know what I mean? And just let him battle it out and see who comes on top.
Yeah, just a pick in between Gabriel and Sanders was Dylan Sampson, who a lot of people might be talking about could be that fill-in, that 1-2 punch with Jerome Ford now that Quinshon Judkins is up in the air. But let's go ahead and look at the projected starters. And I want to start from the quarterbacks, then branch out to the skill position players, and then we'll talk about the offensive line. So this is the part that I think a lot of people are going to be dialed in when they watch this video. What the heck is going to happen? As of right now, I feel like it's going to be Joe Flacco. I can give you my explanation on that in just a bit, but I have Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Sanders in that order.
I would agree with that. I do know there are some talks about Kenny Pickett maybe getting the starting role. Personally, as a fan, I would prefer it be Flacco. I get it. He's 40. I get it. He throws interceptions, but he does push the ball down the field. That's my only thing. So I like Flacco or take a chance on Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur. I'm not a Kenny Pickett fan. I think Kenny Pickett had his chance in Pittsburgh. He might have learned something in Philly. And maybe he is the next Sam Darnold. I don't know, but I don't personally see it. And I think we have 2 good rookie quarterbacks who we should give a chance.
I was reading the news and I was reading up on, oh yeah, it's potentially Kenny Pickett. He's the favorite. But then when you really think about it, the reason why Joe Flacco comes back at age 40 is because he's almost guaranteed to be a starter. I don't think he comes off the couch or the potential to be on the couch if he's going to just be a backup for another year. Maybe. I think he comes in to be the starter. So the way I have it going down is Flacco opens the season to be the starter. I think he's earned that trust for Stefanski towards the end of 2023 when they made that playoff push against the Texans. Their bye is a week 9. So I feel like within the first 8 games, their schedule is really tough. I have them going about 2-6. And at that point, even though I feel like Flacco could be the best of the quarterbacks that could be playing this year, at 2-6, the bye week, Stefanski needs to save his job. He needs to make a quarterback change. And that's where I feel like it's going to be Kenny Pickett that comes in. Their schedule gets a little bit softer right after that, not too terrible. So Pickett's going to win enough games to where he could start out the rest of the year. They're probably going to be out of playoff contention, so I think that they're going to give a shot to one of the rookies. And I think that's going to be Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders. So that's how I have it playing out is Flacco starts 8 games, Pickett starts 8 games, and then Gabriel, maybe Sanders starts that last game. Let's branch out to the skill position players. That running back position is obviously all controversial, or it is now with Quinshon Judkins. His status up in the air. Dylan Sampson, we talked about, could be a fill-in with Jerome Ford. Jerry Jeudy being that wide receiver 1. Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver 2, looked great last year. And then I personally like this guy, Jamari Thrash, as the wide receiver 3, the slot guy. We were talking about this off camera. Thrash versus maybe Deontay Johnson. On May 28th, he took first-team reps at slot in OTAs. But on July 13th, a beat reporter said that Jamari Thrash, he felt like was the biggest surprise in Browns OTS. But then going to that offensive line, pretty solid. You got Jack Conklin, White Teller, the usual guys, Joe Petonio. We talked about the loss of linebackers a lot. Originally had Jordan Hicks as the starting linebacker, but now I put in Devin Bush.
I mean, I would love Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, but give the young guy a chance. Devin Bush can obviously flex into there a little bit. I like the secondary. There's definitely some questions. I know Denzel Ward has struggled with injuries and things of that nature. I love the defensive line with Mason Graham and Myles Garrett. I love that, but we'll see. I mean, it's not the best defense ever. I think our defense a couple years ago was a little bit better than this. But if the offense doesn't put them in horrible positions all year, I think maybe they'll be able to do something. But if we do what we did last year, it's going to be another rough year.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a tough division with Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and then you got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. So the secondary, like you said, is to be tested.
Yep.
The special teams, nothing really to talk about here, just the usual. DeAndre Carter is the new guy, the new addition, so we expect him to be the new returner. Now we get into stat projections, and I just wanted to throw in the 3 quarterbacks that I was talking about that I feel like could be projected starters. 8 games for Flacco, 8 for Pickett, and for Gabriel. And 17 touchdowns and 12 interceptions in 8 games. That's solid for Flacco, but I do feel like with that bye week, again, a quarterback change is going to happen. Kenny Pickett comes in, and then Dylan Gabriel in his last game. What people have been saying in Brown's training camp, he's been looking sharp. A lot of coaches are impressed with his processing speed. That's why I'm giving him the nod over Shedeur Sanders. And 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, that's pretty solid for your first game. So
I will say I do think it might play out a little different. This is just my opinion and maybe also my hope as a fan. I do think Kenny Pickett takes the job over after week 9. I'm cool with that. I don't know if he plays all 8 games, though. I do think there's going to be pressure on them to give Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders a chance. I don't know if that's going to be 1 game each, but I think Shedeur, with the pressure that they're going to get with his name, I think he's going to play at some point.
yeah, and these Flacco stats are actually based off of not just when he was with the Browns under Stefanski, but I factored in the games that he started as an Indianapolis Colt as well. So then we move on to the running back position. I mean, we just don't know how this is going to work out. I personally feel like Dylan Sampson is going to get a lot of carries now. He's going to fill in behind Jerome Ford. I just didn't want to project his stats just because we all don't know.
Right.
We just don't know what's gonna happen. But with Quinshon Judkins, who is expected to be the starter, let's just go ahead and say he gets suspended maybe 4 games. But they're gonna slowly work him in, and then maybe towards the end of the season, if everything works out well with like the legal issues, signs his rookie deal, obviously, maybe towards the end of the season he gets like a crack at it, a starting job. But I mean, I have the split right now: 162 carries versus 133. Let's move on to wide receivers, and then we'll get to the tight ends. Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Jamari Thrash is the top 3 that I have. 138 targets, 123, 94. For Jeudy, kind of picking up off of the momentum that he carried last year. I know that was mainly just 1 game, that big primetime game that he had with Jameis Winston at quarterback in the snow. But 86 receptions, 1,100 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. For Tillman, takes a step up, 74 receptions, 873 yards. And then Jamari Thrash, only 9.2 yards per reception, but that's because we expect him to be that short yardage and the slot guy. 56 receptions, 515 yards.
I do think Deontay will get an opportunity. I don't know if he'll cut into those targets with Jamari, but I think Judy's going to be the guy, though. I think he's going to have a big year if we have a quarterback who can get him the ball.
And then lastly, the tight end, David Njoku, solid as always, 85 receptions, 850 yards, and 7 receiving touchdowns.
We picked up Harold Fannin Jr., but from a consistency standpoint, Njoku has been really good. So this looks good.
Yeah, and these are stat projections. And to wrap up the video, we've got record projections. So I didn't want to just say, oh, I feel like the Browns are going to go 5-12 and anything outside of that, more or less, it's wrong. I wanted to give a window. The floor is they could win minimum 1 game. The ceiling is minimum 8 games. And that is a wide range. But it's just based off of the quarterback, the running back. We just don't know what's going to happen with everything. But what I expect is I don't think the Browns are going to win the division. I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think a lot of people do expect that.
I'm between 4 and 6 wins. If Flacco's playing well, we may sneak in a couple more games, a couple more wins and get to 6 wins. Do I think that's going to happen? I do not. Like you said, the first 8 games of our season are brutal. We may be able to win a couple games after that, but that also depends on if Kenny Pickett is playing well. And to be honest, I don't think we're getting the 8 wins either. So
Even if Flacco starts all 17 games, 16, 15, because last couple of weeks maybe they give a shot to the rookies.
I don't see it. I mean, our schedule, we looked at our schedule the other day. It's not the prettiest thing. I mean, it's a lot of tough games. It's going to be hard to get 2 wins in those first 8 games.
It's a toss-up. There's also some swing games. I like to mention some games that could go back and forth. The Bengals Steelers always, division games are tough.
Yeah.
The Titans that they play this year, that could be a swing game. The Jets, the Patriots, maybe the Miami Dolphins, depending on the health of that team.
Right.
Yeah, and let's hear the opinions of you guys, the Browns fans, in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any sort of agreements, disagreements, thoughts, opinions, I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comments down below, and we'd love to discuss some football with you guys. Just make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, like I said, every day for the next 32 days, or at least from August 1st to September 1st. This video is going to be dropping on August 6th, so tomorrow is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. So if you guys want to stay up to date when we come out with other videos for other teams, just go back to the beginning of this video. That graphic will put that up. You can see your favorite team when that video drops. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you tomorrow.